beautifuls and beloveds, good to see you again. So, we're on a roll here with some dance stuff. I'm sure you're all very excited about that. Oh my gosh, it sounds so facetious. I don't mean it. So, oh wait, I gotta do the intro right. So, I'm Noelle Rose Anderson -Kale, because I'm married. How are you? These are the DanceWarrior videos, and we do a lot of cool things. Not only do I teach you tips and tricks for dance, hopefully you get something out of it, but I also teach you little tips and tricks to encourage you through life. I've been through a lot, as you can tell, and maybe something that I've gone through can help you in more ways than one. So, all these little videos that I do, there is a more in-depth, either video or book or manuscript, something for you that you can purchase. This is just enough to whet your appetite. And today I'm going to talk to you about dance mapping. And some of you know this term, some of you may not, but basically what it is a roadmap to your dance, to show your dancers, your lighting designer, if it's being filmed, whoever needs to see it and is participating can actually get what you're trying to do and have knowledge about your piece to help you bring about your vision. And dancers, this is very important to understand. The staging, that's also what it's called. That way you don't fall off the stage, run into people, or just do the wrong thing. So this is a general map. I'm facing it this way because most stages, not all, I've been on stages that were downstage, upstage, that went deeper than width-wise. Those are challenging because that's not the norm. Usually they're more horizontal in their measurement than up to downstage or downstage to upstage. And squares, there's squares, those are hard to deal with sometimes too. But basically most stages are like this, some are split level, you get all kinds. But let's just keep it easy and basic. Okay, so this is downstage. I'm gonna put it this way so you can actually read it. This is downstage. That means the audience is out here. And if you're dancers or you keep traveling, you will fall off into either the orchestra pit or into somebody's lap. Upstage, that's where the cyclorama, scrim, curtain, screen, anything would be. And then you have your wings. You have your left and right. And within these wings, you're going to have lights. Usually you'll have a tree. I've seen some really handy-dandy stages that actually don't have trees anymore. They're actually built into the walls. And it's actually kind of interesting and neat. It presents a problem because there can be a lot of passing in front of them, and then you're going to have a problem because even though they're about 6 feet tall, you're going to have some people that are a little taller than that, and it can cast a shadow inadvertently. Maybe it'll drop off, but maybe it'll be seen here. But it's an interesting thing because dancers can inadvertently run into them. So let's just go like this, right? Because this is very important to learn and to know. Even if you're not a dancer, if you're a performer, or a lighting designer, choreographer, I don't know, you stage fight scenes, anything like that, you should understand the territory in which you're dealing with. Now this is completely different from a film set. The lights can be, and usually are, pretty much anywhere. And they will do whatever they need to make the scene look the way they need it. So it's a little bit more complicated, and I actually like lighting a film set more than a stage, because stage is very frustrating to me because what you get is what you get. You don't get other takes. You can't move in closer or further away to get that certain effect that you want. What you see is what you get, and it's very hard to make everything look like spectacular in this little area. But then, there are some things that you can do, and I'm learning still. But, you know, when you're making a dance map, you want to try to get a rough estimate of the entire space and then the danceable space, which can be different. You want to find out how many legs there are, you know, the wings. These are usually curtains. I've seen them, let me draw this a little bit bigger. I've seen them be actual, like, walls, partitions, and that's legitimate too. It's, you know, whatever works, I guess. And so then the lights are going to be in between here, so that means you as a dancer, if you have to come in and out of the wings, you got to get around these things. And not always is it easy or fun to do, because you can run into them, and if they're off and you don't know the area, you're going to have problems. You can jar the trees, you can do a lot of things that can actually cause problems. So what you want to do is, as much as you can, get familiar with the stage and the space you're going to be performing in. A lot of us dancers and choreographers, it's like time is money, money is time, and it's just like, look, pictures, good, you got it, okay, go, dance. I prefer being able to give more time for rehearsal, but it's not always practical because it's so expensive. And so, you know, you try to do your best to be your best host for everybody. But, you know, we give enough time, I think. What was I going to say? Yes. Okay. So, as far as mapping out your dance, you want to know everything possible. Now, this is not necessarily needed when you're first choreographing. Eventually, you're going to have to do this for the space. It's like we dance at some locations and we'll do repeats. So I have dance maps for each location. And if someone says, okay, we're going to do the Ford. Okay, we're going to go to Ailey's, you know, the City Group Theater. Oh, we're going to go to, you know, this college. I already have either performed or been there long enough or enough times, and I know how to map it. So, and I know the measurements, etc. So then I can choreograph for space, to space, or it's like writing for location. So you don't have to like make up a location. You write for something you know already exists. So I've done this before where I create a dance for the location I know I'm going to be performing at because I know what I have to work with. But aside from that, let's just say you just want to create a dance, you don't know where you're going to perform it, you still need to make a dance map. You don't have to, it's just easier. Let me put it that way. Oops, downstage, hold on. Let's take my piece, A Silent Rose, because you can actually go see it online, and we'll drop a link at the bottom of this. That way you can see for yourself. And the Silent Rose has 3 boxes already set up, and we have dancers on each box. And that is upstage, like so. We always call this one Mama Bee Fly. This was Baby Bee Fly. There's only one Baby Bee Fly. I give my dancers nicknames every time we recast. It's so much fun, but they're always something Bee Fly. And then this is usually like I'll use somebody's first name or part of their name and something Bee Fly, or there's been some pretty cute ones. And I portray the rose who blooms, who's been silent. Isn't that funny? Not haha funny, but funny strange. That I was almost prophesying my own thing without even realizing that they created me to be a silent rose. In other words, I was just there to be looked at, but not able to talk, not able to be known for my words. Interesting to think about. Besides that, let's look at the dance map. Sorry guys, I'm telling you. That's why when I do these videos, not only am I teaching you about what I know about certain things in dance and to encourage you, but life skills as well. I'm having such a hard time. Let me get this piece of paper out. This was from another video. Actually, let me just hold this up. That might be a better idea. I have to keep this in here. Okay. So we have my dancers like this, and this is where their first spot and my first spot is going to be in the dance. And then from here, they get off their boxes, but we're still in the same location. So I don't necessarily have to, or will I, draw on here. But let me show you what the interesting thing is after this. After this, I get up on the box and I fall backwards. They catch me. We're still upstage. We will do, let me show you the movement, like this. Who does this movement? It's me and this other person. It's pretty cool, huh? And then what we have entering too, this isn't the exact choreography, but I'm just showing you how to make a dance map. And there's no right or wrong. You can use Laban notation to help you. You can use all sorts of different diagramming, and you know, ballet used to, and still does, if you can figure it out. I started, and to me it's just so complicated, but it basically is a notation for ballet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's very, very antiquated, but it works. Here we have the wind coming in, and it'll be almost in a diamond shape like this, so everybody is seen. So we have this back person who could be seen, this person seen. They're all, I really don't like people not being seen, and I like to switch it up so everybody gets a special part, or everybody gets something, but I don't like anybody like in the back. Really, nobody's there to perform in the back. It doesn't mean that everybody will always be downstage, because that'll look like a hot mess, but it's, you know, rotating them, so people who start in the front, then they'll go towards the back to switch back again, and whoever's in the center will go out to the side. This way it lives and breathes, and it gives pretty much equal time to everybody. Like the Silent Rose is, that's amazing. Everybody's character is very well known. It's not like, oh, they're background dancers or something like that. It's everybody doing something really cool, because they have specific roles. They're supporting characters, there are, you know, featured, their main focus. Anyway, so you want to keep all of this in mind. So I don't do a direct diamond, because then this person is going to be blocked by this person. And, you know, if there are people sitting here in the audience, look at the proscenium. That's what I do. And you know, is there an apron too? There's different things you can cheat with, but I sit out in the audience and I look at it and I say, okay, everyone's pretty much seen. So when I do a diamond, I don't put the other end of the diamond behind the front point. I kind of cheat it a little bit. And then what else do we have in this dance? How many dancers do we have in this one again? We have 8, right? I think that's right. So then these guys here get carried away 2 and 2, and then they circle around here. Very, 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 that's one of the most intricate, complicated dance maps that I have for one of my pieces. That and cello concerto. Oh my gosh, you have to really just, what I try to do is I'll get with groups of people and work with them. Like I'll work just with the wind, those 4 dancers separately, and teach them all of their part and say, you know what, just get that in your head and your body. And then I work with the 3 butterflies. And you know what, they don't always have to be all women. at all. We've gender bended. I don't know if that's a correct term, but we've done things because men can have a beautiful effeminate side too, without making them be something that they're not, or maybe they are. But I was looking at the older pictures of the Romans and the Greeks, not knowing I was also Greek. I'm Roman too. I knew that. I knew the Italian, but I didn't know I was also Greek. And so it, my hair is really getting me hot here. The lights just really warm everything up in here. So I didn't realize I was Greek at the time, but I was very interested in it. And Greek and Roman styles, they're similar, but there are distinct differences at the same time. So the Silent Rose is the costuming, that story. The whole thing was we had to have either no or low budget. So I think I had like $10, $20. That was it. So we had to either borrow. So, beloved, if you're wondering, that's why I asked you if I could borrow it, because that was part of our assignment. We couldn't have a budget. That was the whole challenge, the whole task. I also had another task, which was to do something completely different from anything else I had done before. And it, as you can see, is very, very different. Very colorful too. So instead of doing a ballet piece, I was just told to just throw it out there, be free. Don't worry too much about technique, just dance. So that is why the Silent Rose looks like that. It plus we did it in like 10 days. If you break it down, it was 10 days. Not very long at all. We did a darn good job for 10 days. But what I'm trying to say, the costuming, very Roman, very Greek looking, with the fluidity. And I wanted, and if you see, the men are also wearing very fluid costumes as well. So when I say gender bend, it's not quite the right term, but I just didn't want the men and women to look so different. Am I making sense? Obviously we look different, men and women. We have different parts, and I'm not saying trying to make a neutral type person, but I didn't want a flowing item to be only synonymous with femininity or a woman. I also wanted to explore that, for a man. Just as much as women can be strong, what does that look like on a woman? And you look at my dancers who are male versus female, while they have the same exact costume and the fluidity, they wear it differently and they present themselves differently in it. So I wanted to explore that and play with that. And I enjoyed it. So, the Silent Rose is really a coming of age type of thing, a rose blooming, a butterfly getting its wings, and being all that you were supposed to be and intended to be. So when I had to map the dance out here, it was one thing to put it on my dancers in the studio, just say, oh, here's some choreography, and then how do you map it? So I made the mistake of not planning for that mapping. And the stage I first did it on, this is a good case where it was more deep than it was this way. So I had to really take things out on a diagonal in a certain way. And this dance tends to get downstage heavy. So at certain places we have to cheat it, where I said, no, you got to take it back. And that was something else I was told to do at my choreography, not to stay so stationed in one little area, really branch out. I said, oh, I can do that. And that is why you've got a dance map that looks like this. So, yeah, I highly recommend doing this. I'm not going to map out this whole thing. I've got it in my binder and my notebooks, my choreographer's notebook. But this is basically what it is to do it. This is a little sloppy, and what you want to do is you don't want to keep drawing and drawing and drawing on the same one. You can use different colored depends, and you can last longer on the same page, but you probably want to go to a next page. Like this only is going to take it for the Silent Rose piece, maybe the first 3 minutes, maybe. A lot happens here. And then it gets very, very intricate, and there's a lot of crossings and going in and out of wings, and I hadn't done that before. If you look at my dances, most of the time they stay on stage, but I was like, you know what, let's really utilize the space and the wings and everything like that, and we did, and we had fun with it. So yeah, I highly recommend you do that. Now, go take a look at the video. I will make a note here, Silent Rose link, so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's drop Silent Rose link in text below. This way I can give my notes to my editors and they can just go ahead and do it. So here's another thing too. Look at the photos. You know that one, I'm wearing my pink costume and I'm doing a double attitude stag, you know. Wait a minute. This one's up. Yeah, like this, with my legs. And look at my hands. We were talking about hands in the other video. I don't know what the heck I was doing. It doesn't look very nice. But the rest I like. You know, my head's back like this. It's awesome. My grandmother showed me how to pose. So I used some of that in this piece. But my hair looks orange. I don't have orange hair. If you look at the video, the photo that came from there that my mentor took of me, which I love, I can't tell you why my hair is orange, but it's not what it is in the video. It looks like this. I'm assuming it's coming out right in the video. So I don't know why it looks orange, but I've never had orange hair. Not intentionally, I don't think. No, I'm pretty sure I never had. Lighting can make a difference too. The calibration of a camera. You can desaturate things. People can intentionally do it because they don't want me to sue a company for stealing my identity or my image as a performer. There could be that too. Not saying my mentor did that. But you know, there's a lot of different reasons behind it, but I can't tell you why that happened that way. It shouldn't have. But yeah, if you look at the video, the photos were taken at the same time that video of this piece was done. And it, I don't know, but I don't have orange hair. I'm not Wilma Flintstone. Does she have orange hair? I don't know, maybe she had red hair. I'm not up on all this cartoon stuff. So anyway, guys, fun little tidbit. Enjoy yourself. We're going to start cross-referencing a lot more of our stuff like this, where I'm talking about something that'll help you, and we're going to put the links in the little text boxes. That way you can see what I'm talking about. And my books, you read my books. The Silent Rose is coming out soon. I don't know if we're keeping that title or not. There's like a series of that whole DanceWarrior series within a series. What else? I think that's about it, guys. But, you know, enjoy. I hope I taught you a little bit of something, learn from my mistakes, and peace be with you. Have a really great, wonderful rest of your day, beautifuls and beloveds. Okay, bye.